Hello everybody and welcome to episode 9 of Ultimate Alchemy. We've hit 6,500 subscribers. Thank you very much for that. I just saw it this morning and people already messaged me on Discord like, you're at 6,500 subscribers. It's really cool. And I'm like, yay. So it's really fun. Thank you very much for subscribing. If you want, I have a Patreon server. You can support me there. And my Spark is in the way. And we have a brand new FTB Revelation server that is been up for a couple of days, so not much has been done. So if you want to join a fresh world, link in the description, patreon.com/Fikibreaker. Just a little shameless plug there. Okay. In between episodes, I didn't do anything with Botania. I didn't fix up the aluminum, nor did I do anything here because we can't really do anything here. And somebody said that the enchanted soil, this guy is going to be used for making V crystals, I think. V. If we look at V. And how do we get these? We can toss quartz slivers. Oh, okay. You can do that. Or can you get these? These are elven trade. Yeah, you can toss runes of balance. Oh, you don't need really enchanted soil. You need mutated grass, infused grass, living rock, and terra steel to make those. And then those are just infused grass and mutated grass to make these. And then you toss them in here and you get the V crystals. And then you can, I believe, just break those to get them going. Yeah, so that's the way you get V crystals. But in between episodes, I did a few things over here that I want to show you. Over here, we have some resonator automation because it was due time for me to do this. So this left one only has, if we go in the back, this left one only has a crafter with dragon hide, which we're going to need in the future, and also the upgrade base for speed upgrades. I don't think I have the speed upgrade recipe in the system just yet, but I have this so we can make speed upgrades when we need to. But we have currently like 130 something, which we're probably never going to use. This middle one is up top here, and it has an exporter for redstone and a detector for black quartz. So black quartz, if you look, we have over 1024 of it. And the redstone furnace just cooks up the black quartz. Then over here on the left, we have Stonebird, and I set it to 4,000 because I forgot to set this guy, so it's still making Stoneburnt. We are at 2,800 now, but it's just gonna make 4,000. It's too much, but it is what it is. We're never gonna use that much anyway. So yeah, we have that. Also, I think I didn't mention, but I have solar panels up there from Extra Utilities. I set them up in between episodes, and I totally forgot to mention it. But those are just giving us extra grid power. As you can see, we have like 379 now. We had 200 something before with the water mills. Okay, so that's the grid power thingy and resonator automation. I also automated rotten flesh, and I think I'll move this over. I have some ducts over here, just extracting netherwort, putting it into this composting bin or compost from Actual Additions, and that I can't even say it. It turns it into rotten flesh. That's a better word to use. And I have a detector here on 1024 of netherwort. What? I have it on the wart. Whoops. That is not what I wanted. We need it on rotten flesh. Okay, not netherwort. Like, what? Okay, so that should be a netherwort, or on rotten flesh. God, I can't even speak. And this your user just has a wand and it's set on redstone on, so when we run out of rotten flesh, it makes the process go faster with the wand. Over top here, I added an inventory checker, and it checks if the first slot has a cooked fish, which I assume is the top slot because it gave us a signal, and it's still on 40 fish, and it's just extracting the fish into here. So I think, yeah, once we get more fish, and they'll just resort itself. Once we get more fish, it should output a signal and start this up to make the leather faster. And I think I'll be moving the leather downstairs and moving this into a 3-wide slot because we don't really need the conduits in between. We can just use flat transfer nodes, I think, or something. We can figure it out. I might leave it here. I don't know. Because we have like this 3x3 slot, this 3x3 slot, but everything else is filled. And we're going to need cactus green for, if we look at uses, and we look at uses for cactus green, we are going to need it to make this paper wealth. We could use if we look at recipes for this, we could use organic green dye, flora green powder, green pigment, or whatever. But the flora powder is going to be petals, which are over somewhere there. And those are kind of slow, so cactus will be just a better bet for this. And I also added an ender lily. You can get those by breaking more grass, so I just broke a bunch and we got ender lilies. And those are really, 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 really slow. As you can see, it's moving like a tiny tick over, but it's gonna make the amount of ender pearls. We can even toss that in the system, but we'll just leave it be. So we have those over here, and I took down the system downstairs that we had for making ender pearls, so this will just be much easier, and I think will be much better. Even though it's probably slower than the system I had before, but I think it's fine. And that's all of our phytogenic insulators used up for things that we'll need. I think we won't need more, but we can grow like spruce trees if we need to, or spruce wood even, for building if we wanted to. At some point we can just set that down somewhere in the middle and grow a bunch of spruce wood and then never worry about it again. But that's what I've been doing in between episodes, actually. I also installed all of the elevators, and as you can see, I have a pressure plate that basically triggers this elevator and calls up the elevator for me when I'm deciding to go down. Or for example, if the elevator is up top, and let's say I want to go to Botania, then I don't have to fly. I can just call down the elevator, go across, or I can go back up if I want to. So I added those on all 4 sides, and I added all 4 elevators. So all of them are functional now. You can see we can call it down. And this one was here before. I added that one and that one. So those are pretty much done, basically. I left this slot open as well because we're going to do Thaumcraft in the future here. So that is what it is for that. And that's pretty much it, what covers what I did in between episodes, I think. So yeah, for today, I want to automate us getting Enderium, even though I don't think we're going to need it for anything. If we look at Enderium, or for anything progression-wise, I would say, because Enderium is just, you can make it with an induction smelter, but we want to make... you can use it. You can use resonant ender, lead, and platinum in that. But I think Enderium can be just easily made in a crafting table, and then we can put it in an induction smelter. So that's going to be good. But we need the platinum basically, and the platinum we can get by using a. If I look at the uses for this and platinum ingot, and then how we get platinum ingots, there, induction smelter. We can get it 100% of the time with cinnabar and not iridium ore, but I want nickel ore, I believe. Well, I can't find it now, but nickel ore gets us 100% platinum if we process it in an induction smelter with cinnabar, and cinnabar can be made by putting mercury over resonating redstone crystals, which we have on autocraft. So we can get that going for us. We could also use redstone ore, but that's pointless. We can't really make redstone ore anyway, or gold. So it's just mercury, which is molten silver in a fractioning still. So we can just set up an entire convoluted system like we have for lapis to make this. So basically we're going to have a lot of machines making us all of this. So let me go and set it up, and I will show it to you once it's done. So this system took quite a bit of my brain power to get it functioning. The problem being, casting basins can pour nickel or platinum into blocks, not just nickel ore. So we have to check if there's a stone block inside of the casting basin, and only then can we pour over the fluid to make the nickel ore and the platinum ore. But it does work. It is very convoluted. I will show you in the back. It looks like this. Just take it in and enjoy it. Basically, to explain what happens all together, we export nickel, Magma Crucible melts it up, puts it into this tank on the back. There's a translocator in the back that transports it over here, makes the nickel ore. This pulls it, uses cinnabar that is made by this, and turns it into nickel and platinum. And we can also hide these guys. I could also do a thingy-mob. This guy. Let's take this, do that, pick up all of these, and then do that. And then we can do 64 and then ignore redstone signal. So these guys can then go into the system. Okay, wonderful. So The same thing happens for platinum, exactly the same, and then it gets imported on the side. I have detectors detecting the platinum and the iridium, and I want to have a stack of each. So it's firstly going to make a stack of iridium because the platinum is being made, and as soon as the platinum is made, the iridium is made, basically. So that is how it works. And in the back, we needed to get some stuff working. I am using a thermal mediator, and this is not... Why are you not pulling the... I don't know why it's not pulling the gel cryothium, but if not, we can transfer it with a conduit or something if it needs to be. Okay, so this thermal mediator does a 60%. Basically, it cools down adjacent blocks, improving their speed. We fill it with coolant and watch it work. So basically, the fractionating still is working, I hope, faster. We can check. Hold up. Without it, it works this fast. Okay, and then with it, it works faster, much, much faster. So we make Cinnabar fast enough for both machines and some extra, I believe. If we look at here, we have extra Cinnabar. So that is really cool. And this phantom energy face is for the fractionating still, because we have no sides available to us because of the thermal mediator, so we use just a phantom face to power it. And then the back here, we have an ender porcupine that is checking the casting basin, and then we have an inventory scanner, or an inventory checker, checking if there's stone in the first slot, and we're matching meta and matching Ordict, because I think it was doing the checking if there's anything inside, even though I had stone filtered here, which is really weird, but at least it checks now. And then we have the only liquid moving block that doesn't have an internal inventory. So for example, fluid ducts have inventories. The conduits have inventories, unless we would use the ender conduit, which we can't make because you can't make fuse squirts. But so we have a translocator with a redstone thing, so it only turns on, like it's going to turn off as soon as it doesn't have a stone, and then it turns on and puts the liquid, and the liquid could still be transferred over, but it's as soon as the nickel ore is taken out of the basin, then it basically just turns this off for the moment until another stone gets in. And the bottom is the exact same. We're using 4 flux points to power all of this, and I could use ducts here instead of conduits, but that is fine. Doesn't really matter. So now we can pretty much cover this up. So I will do that in a moment. But yeah, I hope you like this, because this took, I don't know, half an hour of my brain to just figure out how to do. And I put this in the middle just so it looks kind of symmetrical and looks really cool. But as you can see, we are getting iridium, and when we get 64, it's gonna backlog this. It's actually not gonna backlog this drawer. It's just gonna immediately start or stop exporting platinum. So the only thing that's gonna be made a bit more than what we need is the platinum, because we have more nickel in our system, and we have nickel being made on autocraft with something down below here, I think. There's this guy. Yeah, and this is where the ender thingy was, so I turned that off, or I removed it even. And this nickel can stay here. Also, this netherrack, I think, can stay here. And we need to move the leather and the nether wart somewhere. We can possibly take the leather downstairs and then put the nether wart in a 3x3 somewhere, because I want to have this space now that we have platinum, or eventually we'll have platinum. I can also, you know what? We don't need that much iridium, because we're only going to need iridium. If we look in here, iridium, we're going to need these guys to make the dragon scale. So we're going to need just like one of these, which should be fine. So I'm going to set it to 16, and in that way we just don't overmake it by what we need. So that is really cool. Okay, so let me move the leather, move this out, and then we can set up Enderium. The making of Enderium is now automated. We are currently being bottlenecked by the amount of ender shards we can produce, and I know I can input ender pearls, right? I could do that, but I believe the phytogenic insulator is going to be so slow that before we get the Enderium, we are going to probably run out of ender pearls, I think, because each Enderium takes 4 ender pearls, I think. So this would only, the 1,000 ender pearls that we have would only suffice for 250 Enderium, I think. If you look at so we get as 250, and then the uses for these are to make buckets, and each makes 4 resonant ender, right? Or 4... no recipe. Why does it not show the recipe for these? The recipe. If I search for uses, like it be U, it doesn't show the recipe. Interesting. Okay. So we need 1. Well, it's 1 ender pearl per ender. Yes. So we could ender pearl, then we're gonna run out, and then when Iridium gets fitted out with anything else, it should be fine. Okay. Let's just do that. Because I also need to fill up a couple more resonant ender buckets. So what we can actually do first, I started upgrading some machines with the resonance here, which we have these now. 40 Enderium, 10. 4 Enderium per kit, and then I can just upgrade machines when I need to. I don't know which ones really need an upgrade, but these are because they're slow AF. And then I'm just gonna go around the base and upgrade most of the machines, if not all of them eventually. It's just the processing of Enderium is slow, so that's kind of what it is. I moved the leather down here. The nickel is still in the same spot, so that is fine. I also removed the fluid transposer that was making us energize the energized glowstone buckets, because we can do that by just doing the same thing that we did for redstone buckets. So if we go to the right spot, that's so the thing I have for the resonant or for stabilized redstone, it's just a detector here and an importer here with the what do you call it, redstone signal. So basically, I just did the same thing. Instead of having another machine doing the exact same job, just adding an importer solves that. So that is super nice. We can add Enderiumize, and then possibly this lapis collection is gonna need to be. We need 4 more kits. Oops, wrong thing. So over the course of time, we are gonna increase and we can slowly upgrade our machines and get everything working nicely. I also moved the netherrack plus the rotten flesh production over here. The netherrack is it's pretty much exactly the same, so we just export the stone and then flat transfer node transfer it in and out, and we just fill this up. And I have an external storage on the bottom here and also an external storage here. And here we just extract the nether wart on a detector for 1024 rotten flesh, and that is pretty much it. Then it gets transferred via a duct in the back, so it's a bit faster. We could do flat transfer nodes, and that would just transport one at a time, which I think would be fine, but that. And I didn't bother to set up the mechanical user with an ender porcupine or anything, because we just don't need that much rotten flesh. And when it needs to be made, it's just gonna get made. That's cool. So let's grab more of these and more of the augment, like that. Another stack, please. There we go. So I need to cover this up with one here. I've also installed over here, I installed some tanks, so you can actually see, and there's 3 machines, kind of, or 3 things, so it's not just a smooth plank. So that's really cool, and I did the same thing here. I just had to extract with a duct in the back, because apparently the pushing works into the thing, but the pulling from the fluid transposer, even if I had it on auto input, that didn't pull the resonant ender out of the. That is what it is. It does work. I also lowered my mood lighting, or I turned my smooth lighting off, because that's what causes the lighting. The lighting glitch over there, and probably lighting here. And messed up, so I was looking into integrated dynamics because they have a meter. You have an inventory meter, and that might work better, but I'll fiddle with that on stream because I don't have time right now to fiddle with mechanics that I don't really understand yet because I haven't played around with them on. But for getting mineral, which is the thing that you need for integrated dynamics, to add integrated, you can see we need mineral chunks, and there's also mineral or crystallized mineral, and the block are made. I can't speak again. Is made by alloying redstone slurry and water. So I just have another type of water, and I tossed in some redstone, and I did that. Plus the smeltery, I think I'll just keep it here. If not, we'll move it to either the third floor or something. But that's okay. So for Botania, I haven't done any sort of building, and I'm going to see how much time I have on the video and what we can do with this, and if we can make it better or anything. So yeah, let me work on this a little bit, and I'll be back shortly. We still have around 10 minutes for the episode, so I decided to set up this little pulverizer here that has 4 augments of the auxiliary sieve, which increases the chance of a secondary output, and basically it is processing TNT to make drops of evil, which drops of evil, if you look at the recipe, are crusher, or pulverizer, and it's a 1% chance of getting it. And the use for these is to make industrial grade evil, and the use for industrial grade evil is to, in a fluid transposer, cover a skeleton skull with 1 bucket of this to get a wither skeleton. So we can then make a nether star, which is, I believe, the thing for clay that we need. Yeah, it's the nether star that we need for making the clay. We still need to get to chaotic tier of fusion crafting, but that's a whole other story. But we have the nether quartz, we have the podzol, I think. We can make this with, oh yeah, we need empowered oil for podzol, so we're gonna get there. We have regular wood, we have diamonds, wither skeleton skull, we're pretty much there. We just need to fluid transpose or something over, which we can add actually to the to here, because I took out this fluid transposer. So if we can get another fluid transposer here, we can just set up either a drawer or something to hold with skeleton skulls, which are craftable. The skeleton skull is a bone block and a chisel, and I think I would want a mechanical crafter making those instead of making them with the storage system, because I don't know if we set up a recipe for, say, skeleton skull. If we set up this, right? And then we set up a recipe for making bone blocks as well, because we don't have that, because I don't think we have bone meal in the compacting drawers, so that's fine. You can just scroll down here, add this, add the skull. So we do skull. And if we craft, let's say, a stack, is it going to make a bunch of chisels? It is not. Okay. Oh, once it's done, let's see. Skull. Okay, let's see. Chisel. I would only use the one. I don't know if we craft more skulls. If, let's say, we craft another stack. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Craft another stack. And let it finish. Because it says it's stored. Okay. It's crafting the bone meal, crafting the bone blocks. It's really cool. And the peat should be made. And somebody left a comment as well. We can add a fortune book to that mechanical miner, and we can possibly get more peat out of it. But I think we're fine on the peat situation. So, chisel. No, it doesn't look like it's making more chisels. It's using the ones that it has. Okay, it's smart that way, but not with the friggin' cutting tools or whatever those are to make these guys. To make these. That was just crafting chisels after chisels, I think. Or something was weird. I think the cutting tools were weird or something. It doesn't matter. Okay, so we can grab a drawer and skulls. And also a storage downgrade. So we can add that here. We can do that. Storage downgrade. We can lock it, quantify it, grab a skull, and say auto input from the top. Okay. And then we need a magma crucible for this as well. Okay, so we won't do the drawer there. I might move this fluid transposer to the center and then move this one over to the side for the gelic cryothium. Yeah, I might do that. So let me finish this off, and we can have basically wither skeleton skulls all the time. we managed to get our first wither skeleton skull, so that is really cool. And what I did for this pulverizer, I have the auxiliary sieve augments, and I have 4 of those because that increases us getting a wither skeleton skull from 1% to 2.5% per TNT, or TNT process. So the gunpowder doesn't really get used because we're just recycling the gunpowder again. So that is really cool. It just used to make the 64 TNT in here. And we can, if we wanted to get this faster, set up, for example, like 3 pulverizers over there doing the exact same thing. So pulverizing TNT, and that could be the thing. And we can all have the thing. So basically we make it 7.5% chance per TNT, kind of, not necessarily, but we get it 3 times 2.5% chance is what I wanted to say. And over here, we have the fluid transposers reorganized. I put the water in the middle. I added a tank on top so we can do that. And it might be slow if we run out of water, but it's water buckets. We just have like 91 of these, so it's all good. And the gelder Iridium is now on the right. And on the left, we have the industrial grade evil being fluid transposed over skeleton skulls. So I think, yeah, it's going to back up of make a 64 wither skeleton skulls here in the backup slot. And I have the back here set up for 3 wither skeleton skulls. And that was a cable. That's fine. For 3 skulls. So the importer is going to stop, and then it's going to make another 64 eventually. Probably not, but you know, that's the thing. And we have another slot here for 5 machines if we need 2 or 3 or something to make something if we wanted to. I could also move the nickel over to the top here if I wanted to, but I think I'm not gonna bother to do that. So everything in here is filled except for that 3x3 slots. So I think in today's stream we're gonna be working on another level because we're probably gonna need more machines for different things, or we're gonna be possibly working on the botanical island and making that better, and not really progressing in any sort of way, just building and setting up where we want other machines and things to work with. I also automated here the aluminum, and what I did is instead of having these guys fill up with a bunch of iron and having like 9 stacks of iron blocks and then our processing iron for 6 years, I made some of these, the limited item filters, and to make those limited item filter, the recipe is 2 comparators and an advanced item filter, and that's a Z-Logic controller. And if you know, the Z-Logic controller is made in the Slice and Splice, but there's no machine, so they added a recipe with zombie skulls, and zombie skulls are rotten flesh and skeleton skulls. Hence my automation of rotten flesh. That's what I needed. So this is set up this way, and each one of these can only accept 1 iron block, and I might do the exact same thing here because it's still processing the amount of wood that we're doing, and it's making, it's almost 4,000 of each. And it's probably going to be like 5,000 of each, but that's fine. We can do that in between episodes. But yeah, I think this is going to be it for today. I want to, next episode, come and automate emeralds, because that is a thing that we can do. And I can actually show you just this. We can do emerald, and we can make, where are you? No, the casting, molten emerald. Where are you? Paper wealth. If I do this, I need the blood. So blood, the coagulated blood is blood in a smeltery, which is just, we can do this. And let's just do this little thing before we end the episode off, actually. That's going to be better. So let's do, I think it's 4 of these. And then let's turn this off, take this off, grab the casting. I can also take this out. And we can possibly do that and that. And then translocator. Let's grab this. Boom, boom. Did you make blood? Okay, we needed, I believe, a pan cast is to make the slime ball, right? So use for blood. Oh, it is just pouring it out onto nothing. Okay. So that makes the coagulated blood. And I think we're only going to need to make 1 of these. So if we put this here, paper wealth, put this inside of the smeltery, and we grab our gem cast, put that here. Oh, made an emerald. We have our first emerald. Awesome. And this emerald we're gonna use in the numismatic press, or this numismatic press upgrade. So we can turn the compactor into a press, and then this guy can make us these gold coins, and we can turn gold coins, paper, and cactus green into more paper wealth, which we can then put in a magma crucible with molten emeralds, and we can pour it out in a pancast. So we can possibly do that over here in the 5 slot that we have left and automate emeralds over there. So that is really cool. We have an emerald. I wanted to actually show you how to get the rest of the stuff. So well, let's just do paper wealth. So the sweat drenched cloth is just a cloth. You take this and you right click it and you get a sweat drenched cloth. And then the player tier, if we do at content tweaker, the player tier, this guy, the player tier drop, normally it's automated with purifying bath salts and water, which is really weird why he added the recipe for this. Unless people wanted to automate this permanently, I guess, and not use the numismatic press, I would assume. But you need to make a drawing of a one-legged puppy, and that you can make that with some scribing tools and some paper, and the scribing tools are just glass bottle feather and black dye. So if we look here, I have a drawing. You right-click it, and you get, I don't know if it's 10 each time, but you get some player tiers, which is basically like you looking at a one-legged puppy, and then you cry and you make player tiers. So that is how you make those, and then you can make more of the paper wealth, basically. So yeah, with that, I want to thank you all for watching. I have a skeleton skull. I'm hoping you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, consider subscribing to see new videos. Also support me on Patreon if I want to give a little bit more, and I will see you all in the next episode. Have a great one. Bye-bye.